We've been waiting for this night for a long time, and now it's almost here. UFC 320, 2 title fights on this card. Magomed Ankalaev versus Alex Pereira. Machine built to grind for 5 rounds against a predator who only needs 1 shot. One of these light heavyweights is about to become the true king of the division. The co-main, Merab Dvalishvili versus Corey Sandhagen. Relentless wrestling versus unorthodox striking. There's no room for mistakes here, but what you see on the poster, that's only half the story. UFC 320, the biggest event of the fall. Are you ready for the showdown? So, are you really sure you know how UFC 320 is going to play out? Most people are probably thinking Ankalaev is just going to play it safe again and take rounds without risking much. Meanwhile, Pereira's fans are sure he's going to load up that left hook and shut the lights out in 1 shot. And of course, everyone's expecting Dvalishvili to crank up the pace in his usual style, while Corey just tries to survive on the ground. But what if it doesn't go that way? What if Ankalaev takes a risk and jumps into the exchanges himself? What if Pereira gets dragged into deep waters and can't find a way out? What if Sandhagen doesn't back off, but instead clinches up and sprawls every takedown the Georgian throws at him? UFC 320 might be that night where the usual roles flip upside down, where the favorites risk becoming the hunted, and the underdogs step up and make a statement. And that's exactly why people are buzzing about this card, even before the fighters step into the cage. Let's break down what we're really in for in the main fights of the night. Let's start with Merab Dvalishvili versus Corey Sandhagen. Behind the scenes, this matchup looks super interesting. Dvalishvili is called the Machine for a reason. The guy works at a pace so insane that even his training partners roll their eyes like, "Dude, you should chill." Corey, on the other hand, isn't even trying to match that gas tank. He went a different route, sharpening his weird angles and counter shots to break pressure. There's some insider talk. Sandhagen's been cooking up sneaky elbow and knee combos specifically for clinch situations. The big question is, will that actually work against a guy who never stops pushing forward? If we look at their strengths and weaknesses, Merab's main weapons are pace, wrestling, and relentless pressure. But on the feet, he's not that scary. A lot of his punches look more like throwaway shots than real damage. Corey, meanwhile, has slick, long-range striking, unorthodox angles, sharp jabs, and those out-of-nowhere shots. But under heavy pressure, he can get lost. And he doesn't always know how to turn it on when someone doesn't give him space. Still, my prediction hasn't really changed. Most likely, Dvalishvili takes it by decision, just off that insane pace of his. Now, Yuri Prochazka versus Khalil Rountree, whole different vibe here. Yuri's been coming back from injuries, and a lot of people were wondering, will we see that same wild, reckless Yuri who just storms forward with no breaks? His team swears he will. In fact, they say he's leveled up. Even added a new boxing coach to tighten up his basic defense. But the question is, with Prochazka's crazy style, can he actually stick to a game plan? Rountree's got weapons of his own. In camp, he looked dangerous as hell, really drilling those brutal low kicks, planning to chop Yuri's leg down right from the start. But we know Yuri isn't built soft either. He's got power, explosive aggression, and that ability to create total chaos that leaves opponents lost. The flip side, he's wide open in striking exchanges, and he's paid the price for that before. Khalil's strengths are those kicks, raw physical power and pressure, but his weakness is he struggles to adjust mid-fight. If those low kicks don't work, he starts to fade. So, most likely it kicks off in classic Yuri style. He charges forward, drags the fight into chaos. But that's also Rountree's chance. If he chops at the legs early and slows Yuri's movement, this could end real fast. Still, I'm leaning toward Yuri Prochazka by knockout. Another really important fight, Abusupyan Magomedov versus Joe Pyfer. There's plenty of behind-the-scenes stuff here too. Abusupyan focused his whole camp on striking, brought in kickboxers, drilled timing, worked on throwing in combinations. He's convinced the stand-up is the key to winning this fight. Pyfer's old back issues never fully went away. Even in the last weeks of camp, his sparring was cut down. The big question is, can he really perform at his best if his whole camp had to be run on low gear? Style-wise, Abusupyan brings speed, combos, and a sharp sense of distance. But his weaknesses are obvious. Sometimes his defense slips and he can gas out after long, aggressive flurries. Pyfer, on the other hand, has that raw power and strong ground control. His vulnerability is obvious too, conditioning and overall stamina. Logic says Pyfer's going to shoot early, take it to the mat, and try to control from top. But if Abusupyan can keep it standing and push his own pace, his striking combos could slowly break Pyfer down. So, here is my prediction. Most likely, Magomedov gets it done either by decision, or maybe even a late finish in the second half of the fight. And here it is, the long-awaited main event of the night, Magomed Ankalaev versus Alex Pereira. The hidden side of their camps makes this one especially intriguing. People close to Ankalaev say he's in the best shape of his career. His main plan is to drag Pereira into deep waters, where it's not about quick bursts, but about patience and control. But Pereira's got different plans. Our sources say he's been working not only on takedown defense, but also on explosive knees. Time to meet Ankalaev on the entry. His team is betting everything on that exact moment when Magomed leans in and walks right into a knee. Now we'll go through what works for them and what doesn't. Ankalaev is all about discipline, cardio, wrestling, and controlling the rhythm of a fight. But the downside is that sometimes he's too cautious, too hesitant to finish when the moment's there. Pereira's strengths are crystal clear, knockout power, sharp timing, and killer counter combos. But his weakness is obvious too. It's his ground game. And the longer the fight goes, the higher the chance he gasses out. So, how might this one play out? Ankalaev will try to take away Pereira's space, tie him up in the clinch, and drag him to the mat. But Pereira is always dangerous on the entries. If he nails the timing, it could all be over in 1 second. Still, my prediction stands strong. Ankalaev gets the win, whether by decision or an early finish. We've broken down the 4 biggest fights of UFC 320, but the real question is, who's going to walk out as the hero of the night? Ankalaev's out to prove his championship is legit and here to stay. Pereira wants to take back the belt and get revenge for his loss. Dvalishvili versus Sandhagen. That fight could shape the whole future of the division. And Prochaska and Roundtree are ready to turn the cage into a straight-up wildfire. Now, all that's left is to wait for the showdown. Very soon, we'll see who lives up to the hype and who loses it all. But there's something that doesn't make it to the broadcast. Check out our Telegram for the freshest insider info, from camp updates and behind-the-scenes training to exclusive bookmaker bonuses that make watching the fights even better. Links in the description. Go hit that subscribe button.